Good morning, one and all, to a brand new video series with here, K-Frey. I hope everyone is having a great morning. It is 7 a.m. Let me go ahead and minimize this because that's very distracting to see myself being recorded. It's 7 a.m. Eastern Time, Indiana. That would be, what would that be, 4 in the morning Western Time in the U.S., and it's the complete opposite in Europe and Japan. I know Japan is literally like a whole nother day. A brand new series. This is not me doing a update video on a vlog like I usually do with me doing a full face cam. Usually I do full face cam and do a vlog and let you guys know about the channel, and usually that's my go-to move. But today is a brand new thing that I plan to do once a month. That this is the first thing is a movie review. I went and saw a new movie last night, or not last night. When was that? Thursday going into Friday, I had watched a new movie, and come possibly the beginning of February, I will probably go see a new movie at the beginning of February or sometime in February, and I will do this again. In the meantime, if there is a movie that I really want to see, I might go see a new movie between then, and I might do I will do another movie review. But as it stands right now, the plan is come February, beginning of February, is to do another movie review, and I'm gonna go see a brand new movie. I had went and saw The Grudge, is what they call it. And when I initially had heard that it was called The Grudge, I had thought this was going to be a remake, a remastered film. But this is a sequel to the previous 3 films, I believe. I should have looked that up. I did not did such, but I believe there are 3 other films. And by the way, I do actually need to keep this up of me being recorded to make sure that whenever it does come time that I don't want to spoil those. I'm going to do like a minor spoiling of the last film. It's going to be very, very, very little spoiling of the film. That's the plan so far, is to do a very minor spoiling at the very end of the last film that this movie leads into that. But the plan is to do a review leading up to, or do a review right after I had seen the movie and let you guys know about it. In this first video, no spoilers. It's going to be 100% spoiler free. I'm going to be as extremely vague as I can be about the storyline and what's going on in the film as much as I can, just in case if somebody wants to go see it, or they, like in this case, people that have seen the first 3 films, or if they just want to see the movie in general because they think that they would enjoy the film. I don't want to spoil anything. And so, that being said, also, I plan to do a 0-star to 5-star rating. 0 being where you should try to get your money back, or in this case, you guys have seen this review, don't even think about seeing it, don't even think about renting it, or doing things to where you could see it for free. Again, that's something I personally don't do. But I wouldn't even see it for free if that were to be the case, being 0. 5-star being where I really enjoy the film. I'm going to go and probably wait for it to go out to Redbox and watch it for $1. If somebody were to say, hey, I never got the chance to see this film, and I'm like, oh, that was a great film, you want to go ahead and rent it? And I enjoyed it that much that I would rent it. I would not buy it myself. And then the very last rating, which is going to be extremely rare, very, very, very rare, you won't see it very often probably, is the thumbs up. 2 thumbs up or thumbs up, pretty much going to be the equivalent. Thumbs up is that not only will I see it one time in theaters, I'll probably end up seeing it twice with people that I'm like, I just loved it that much. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go see this film. You guys should come see it because it's that excellent. Because I've seen it already once. And I'll probably end up even buying it on DVD myself, or I might go to the Play Store and rent/buy the film on the Play Store or on demand. It's just that it would be that spectacular for me to go and do a thumbs up. And so this film, I did a rating system of the 0 to 5-star, and there's also the thumbs up. And so again, I'm going to do a very wrong screen. Hello. I'm going to do a very brief synopsis. Again, this is going to be it's going to be very little spoiler. It just talks about what happens at the end of the last film that leads into this film, and I'm going to do a quick synopsis of what goes on, or what the idea of is behind this film. And so we are at about 6 minutes and 15 seconds into the video, and starting right this very minute, until I say so, I would recommend minimizing or fast forwarding to the point where I would say to go ahead and continue with this video. The synopsis is that at the end of the last film, there's a curse in a house in Tokyo where it's called the Grudge, the Ju-on, Juon, or I think there's like a little dash in between Ju-on. It's about this demon-like creature that had possessed a young girl. It seems to be the case. Again, I personally have not seen these films. I should have seen them, but the film is not the idea. I guess I should have seen these films, but I enjoy the film as it is anyways. The synopsis is that a woman from America comes to Japan to solve and figure out what's going on in a house that is cursed by the Ju-on, the Grudge. And from what I've seen at the beginning of this film, she is wanting to leave the house. She is done with the curse. She wants to leave as soon as possible. She calls her husband and says, hey, I'm coming home. I don't want to be here anymore. And so she packs up her stuff. She leaves and heads home to be with her family, be with her husband and her daughter. And she brings the curse with her to America to bring the Ju-on curse, the Grudge curse, and the girl is haunting her. And the film is about this house being cursed and her being cursed and bringing the curse with her to America is the synopsis of the film. And trying to think of the right. You get a detective that comes into the scene that something happens at a point in at the very beginning of the film where a scene happens where she gets involved into wanting to know about the house that ends up getting cursed because of the lady that comes from Tokyo. And so she gets involved in trying to find out about the curse. And so a quick stop point right here where you guys can get back is about 9 minutes and 20 seconds. So about 3 minutes of me trying to sum up the quick summary about what's going on in the previous film and what's going on in this film. So you guys can come on back. It's about 9 minutes and 20 seconds into it. And so that's just a quick summary about what's going on in the previous films. Anyways, but in this film, the idea is that, again, a curse has been put onto a house from that's in America now, that's coming from Tokyo. Again, this is a little bit of spoilers. That came from Tokyo, that there was a curse of Ju-on / the Grudge that came from Tokyo to America with a woman that wants to spend time with her family. She's wanting to be out of this other house. Again, about 10 minutes in to the film. It's still a little bit more spoiler. So 6 minutes and 20 seconds, 10 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm going to try to end that right there. The detective that is trying to find out about the curse, trying to do a better summary still. She has certain things that happen to her, and she has to come into a new town. That's where she has a certain scenery happen where she has to go, and she finds out about. I'm trying to be very vague as much as I can, and it's so difficult. Especially now that I'm on camera, I had this all built up in my head, but the scenery that happens, that this lady moves into a new town, that she's a detective / police officer. She comes into a new town. She finds out about a certain circumstance, that's a better word for it, that it leads to her wanting to know as to why this is happening, or why, because this is so difficult now that I'm actually filming this. Oh goodness gracious. I can't breathe. Oh man. The woman comes into a new town. There's already another detective that has been on this case before, but he doesn't know much about or anything about the grudge, the curse. But he wants to know very little about it, but he knows enough that what happened in this scenario or circumstance that leads to her being involved into it. And then she gets a file about the house that the lady lives in that is cursed. And so she starts to get involved into the curse, and it all starts to piece together, and so that she's just trying to solve as much as she can. So that's as vague as I can get, or as vague as I am, and again, this is me trying to be as very little spoilerish as I can. Okay, let me go ahead and minimize this real quick, because that is driving me absolutely nuts seeing myself on camera. With that being said, let's go ahead and break down the actual film itself. No spoilers. As much as I can. Let me talk about the environment that when it comes to the film, there are music, environment, character development, and just the characters themselves, along with the acting that is key also. The story and the script are like 4 key elements to a great film. And for me, personally, I love a good environment. Like, if you give me a building that is just so unique and that stands out, I'm already hooked. That's what I did with quite a few of my films that I absolutely loved growing up and continue to watch. With this film, the environment, they could have done better, to be honest. There are 4 buildings that they usually and only spend time in. There's the 2 buildings for the police detectives' houses. There's one, like I said, the one woman the detective / police officer that is trying to solve and try to figure out what's going on with this cursed house. And there's the other detective that's trying to know as little as he can about the grudge curse, which I don't blame him. There's the police department, which has a little role has a lot more, actually more of a role than the the two detectives' houses, and then there is the actual cursed house, which is the key thing of the film. And so I'm pleasant with the environment. I'm glad that they kept it at 4 buildings. They didn't go overboard and try to say, oh, this place, they need to go here because of this scenario, so on and so forth. I did appreciate that. The setting is supposed to be in 2006, and they flip back between 2004 and 2006, and once in a while 2005. 2004 and 2006, between there, they did timeline things, and the setting kind of threw me off, and it was kind of like I questioned it, but I understand as to why they had certain technological lapses or issues. One guy, the detective, that doesn't want to know as much as he doesn't want to know anything about the Grudge. He has like an old one of those old big square TVs, and I'm like, it's 2006. Like, TVs were getting a little bit smaller. I don't see why he would have such a TV, but I mean, some people nowadays still have those kind of TVs. And then the mother that just moved in to, or not the mother, but the detective that just moved into the town had like a flip TV where you like the turn knobs. She had one of those old TVs, but then she would sit on the couch and she had a flip phone and she used it. I'm like, you have a flip phone, but yet you can't really do a little bit of an upgrade on the TVs. And again, this is 2006. It was starting to become the modern time where you had flat screen TVs, you had flat monitors, but they had like the bigger monitors for computers, which I can respect that. They actually had computers, and they didn't say that they didn't have computers. They actually would go and get on the computer, and they had Google, and so they actually kept up with it, but yet they kept the TVs old. That was my only real gripe when it comes to the setting of 2006, which makes me feel a little bit older now that they're starting to show it's 2006, and it's like, that was 14 years ago. And so the environment, again, I appreciate. They kept it to a minimum, and they didn't go overboard on it. I appreciate that. Next up is the music, and again, once we get to the end of the film, you'll find out more about the star rating, but the music, they could have toned it down, or they not toned it down, but they could have used a lot less music, because whenever the detective would go by herself to go look for something, at every corner she would have the flashlight, and she would try to go find out about what's going on with the cursed house. They would instantly start playing the suspenseful music that every film has, and it wasn't like some films that you see back in the day or even today where it was very subtle or none at all. Like every corner, you could hear the violin or the cello playing at a good tone to it. They would have just had like none at some of these suspenseful scenes. I would have been perfectly fine with it, but they played it at every corner. Like, she would go around the corner with a flashlight and look around, and she would slowly go around, and there's that violin playing at a good tone. That's my only gripe. But I understand as to why they did it, because again, it does add a suspense to it. Again, I love my suspenseful horror films, and I wish they would have just tone it down a little bit. Next up is the character development slash acting. The only character that really you see a lot of development with is the detective, the one that is trying to solve the scenario of the film, the plot, the story of the film. She goes into the house and she becomes cursed. Again, very woof. Well, again, if you guys are watching this as a review, I hope you guys would have seen it yourself. That kind of hit not a nerve, but I kind of wish I would have not said that right there. That kind of, as you can tell with me having this face, that this is the first time doing this, and I'm hoping the next one that we don't have these kind of blunders. But going with that being said, that happens, and you can see that she actually it starts to take a toll on her, and the acting itself as her, she does an excellent job. And it's not just her, all the actors and actresses in this film, they do an excellent job. They stay in role, and I believe them as who they were. Very impressed by all of them. And so I am very impressed by them doing their part as far as staying in role and making me believe in them as who they are in that character role. And finally, it's time to talk about the story / script of the film. Throughout the film, you start in 2004, where you, again, what happened, like what I talked about at the beginning of this review. Again, I'm trying to spoil as very little as I can. Again, I'm a little bit frustrated with myself that I had even mentioned the little spoiler. Actually, not a little, but kind of a spoiler in the middle of this, in which I'm, again, a little bit frustrated with myself. They start in 2004, the beginning of the film, and they go back to 2006 in their current time, and they come along and they find out about certain things that happen, and then it brings you to 2004 and certain things happen, and then at the house, all these scenarios are building up to this house, and the house was happening at the house. They all intertwine in 2004, 2005, and 2006. The actual characters intertwine, and you can understand and you piece it all together. Now, they did an excellent job throughout almost throughout the whole film. I was extremely impressed by that. I was I wasn't expecting them to actually piece it all together, where they 2004 through 2006, where you would understand what's going on. Very happy with that. They actually follow. Again, I don't personally know much about The Grudge. I need to go watch the first three films that I know of. I think there's possibly even more. There might be only two or more that I know of. They continue to follow the Grudge storyline from previous films, and they do an excellent job of doing the storytelling throughout the whole film. And then you get to the last 10 minutes or so, and I understand as to why they did this. And again, I'm not spoiling any of it because I want people to be able to just go and if people are watching this and they want to go see The Grudge, I don't want any spoilers. They could have done a lot better with the last 10 minutes of the film. They could have done significantly better, actually, be honest. They did something and it led to something else, and with something that I am thinking about, they could have continued the storyline and still had another film, because this is all Hollywood films. This is something that's been on my mind since I started writing my notes right here. They what they did for the last 10 minutes of the film, that one scenario happened and then the next scenario happened. They for the last 10 minutes of the film, there's like two major things. They were just trying to make it to where, hey, something's happening. We're going to try to make it where we are going to try to make it where we can go and make another film, and then we can possibly make a second film with us having this scenario happen. These two scenarios happen. With this, they could have... I wish Hollywood / anybody, I don't know who actually made the film, but I feel like this was a kind of Hollywood kind of feel to it. I wish they would have just made it to where they could have one more film, because what happened at the beginning of the film and what's happened at the end of the film, they could have just had one more video, or one more movie, and it could have been an excellent video or movie, but now they're trying to drag it out to have not just one, but two more films, it kind of feels like, with what happened in the last 10 minutes. Very frustrating, and at one point, I did this. I looked at the film, I was like, why? I even said that, I was like, why? I said that out loud to like a good dozen or so people around me. I was just like, why? Why this kind of ending? That's just mind-blowingly, it was frustrating. And so, before I get into the review portion, the star ratings, the funniest thing, I gotta mention it. I doubt the young lady will ever see this video, but it was hilarious. 2 seats over me to my right, a young African-American young lady, was just watching the film with us, or watching the film with all of us, and anytime it got dark in the movie, and there's suspense, she immediately had her shirt like this, and was holding it like this, and as soon as the music started to play any higher, it was immediately like this, just over her eyes, and she just kept it over, like she pulled her like hoodie over her eyes, and she was just like this, like this, just had her arms down and just simply just did not seem like she was wanting to be a part of this movie. And I was just like, I actually laughed out loud. It was hilarious. I was absolutely dying that whole time, that I would look over like this, and she just had it over her eyes, and she would like pull it down a little bit, and then she'd pull it back up, and then she would like hold her like this, and she'd like go and like talk to her friends, and in my head I'm like, you guys could have easily seen, like, there's like 6 other movies that she could have seen, and she could have laughed, she could have cried with her friends, she could have had an idea with other films, but this poor young lady, I'm not sure if her friends forced her, was like, oh, let's go see this film. And she's like, no, I don't want to see it because of it being scary. But I'm like, you're spending $12 to go, and it's a horror film. It's a horror suspense film. And she's just covering her eyes, and she just sat there like this with her eyes closed. Or not closed, but had the hoodie over her eyes. I'm like, I laughed. I laughed out loud. And there was a guy to my left, and he, in some of the scenarios, which I agree that there was a couple, and I was like, wow, this is actually kind of suspenseful. A little bit. The whole film, I did not feel that suspense, and that's something I just thought about, and I had not thought about until just now. I had again, there was just like this gentleman, or not this gentleman specifically because nobody's here, but there was a guy to my left. There was a moment where he actually had like, his body was like leaned back like this. I wasn't ever that suspenseful. There's only been one film that I've ever had that much fear, in which I'll talk to you here in a minute about. But I never had that much suspense during this whole movie, and that's a little bit upsetting because I've heard so much good things about the Grudge movies, and I need to see them because I love the suspense. I love the imagination of the suspense horror films. Like, it does the scenarios with those. But that gentleman, there was moments where it got kind of intense. But with all that being said, there's only one film before I get into the star reviews that had got me so shook that has made me believe in demons. I'm just being straight up honest. Leading up to this film, I didn't believe in demons. I didn't believe in ghosts. I didn't believe in paranormal scenarios. This is a hint. Paranormal Activity 3. 3, yeah. Was that 3? Yes. I had heard about the first two. I don't think I had watched them before. But the third one, that shook me to the core of how scary that film was. I could go and get into detail of how horrifying that film was to me. Again, I believe in the demons now. I believe in ghosts. I believe in the paranormal activities. It shook me to the core to this day. I believe in all that. It scares me so much, that film. That whole thing, all the scenarios in that whole film, it shook me to the core. That's like one of the only films that has ever done that to me. I've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I've seen all of these horror films. To this day, that scares me. That scares me even talking about it right now. Let me go ahead and pull this up again because it's going to be awkward. Yay! Get to go and talk to myself along with to my face to my right. And so that's always fun because I'm going to tell you guys here in a minute that I'm going to talk about something else. Anyways, on a 0 through 5 star scale, I give it 3.5 stars for the Grudge movie that is out in theaters this very day. Again, it's nothing that is, it's not a film that I would go as far to say that I would not ever see it, but I'm not going on premiere night. Again, I'm not regretting it, but I'm glad I'm telling you guys, don't go see it on a weekend where you're spending $12 to $15 to see this film. It's not that good. If you can go maybe on a Tuesday, it's like half price. It's $5, I think. That's not too bad. Anything from going on a Tuesday where you get half price, or wait till it comes out on Redbox. Actually, Redbox, I highly recommend Redbox. This movie is good for Redbox. I do recommend the people that have seen the old older films, definitely Redbox, especially with that ending. Whew. I haven't talked this much in quite some time with you guys. The full star being taken off was that ending. That ending is so frustrating, all because Hollywood wants to make not just one, I have a feeling, one extra film. They want to make 2 extra films. Two more extra films is what my feeling is after watching that ending. And so I'm giving 1 full star off of because of that. And I had really considered on the way to go get some Dunkin' Donuts, I had considered knocking off a full star because of the music, but I understand as to why they had done the suspenseful music, because it is a suspenseful movie. I understand as to why they had played that much music that often, and so I understand it, but I also I was not a big fan of how often they did it, so I only did a half-star knockoff of that. Again, they had every opportunity for this to be a 5-star. They had every opportunity, but again, to the fans that love the Grudge movies, again, Redbox is perfect for this scenario. 3.5 stars. So that's my review of The Grudge. We are at about 36 minutes, and I appreciate you guys tuning into this video. Again, the plan is that if I were to look up, the plan is to look up January and February movies, and if there's something that just blows me away that I really want to see come sometime later on this month, or I will be seeing a film next month, is to review it with you guys, to let you guys know my honest opinion about the film, and let you guys see if you really guys need to see it, or don't even watch it for free. It's going to be one or the other, or it might be just like what I just mentioned, is that you see it at Redbox, or you see it for half price on a Tuesday. Just depends. I appreciate you guys tuning into the video, and with that being said, you guys can go ahead and tune out now, or you guys can stick around for about 5 more minutes. It's about 37 minutes and 22 seconds is when I am doing this rambling on at the very end, where I'm going to talk to you guys about this review settings right now. Again, 37 minutes and 22 seconds is where I am cutting off, where you guys can just go ahead and watching the rest of this video. What is your guys', the people that are staying past that point, what are your guys' honest opinion about this review setting? There was a blunder right in the very middle of the video where I did a minor spoiler, because if you watch the preview, if you watch the preview of this film, it's going to be the preview is going to show what's going on with the scenario of the film. So I do feel bad, but I'm not going to drag myself and feel so bad about it and regret it and not even upload the film. I'm still going to upload it. What is your guys' honest opinion about how vague I was? I went really vague in this spoiler-free video. Would you guys be interested in me doing a full spoiler video where I just talk about from beginning to end and what I do love about the film, what I hate about the film? Do you want me to do some spoilers, like this scenario could have done, or I could talk to you guys more about the characters, because I've only mentioned 2 characters in the film, and I didn't want to go into more details about all the other characters, because I didn't want you guys to, because knowing me, I would go into more characters and I would start to spoil it, and knowing me, I would probably end up spoiling the whole film because of talking about the characters. Let me guess what your guys' opinion about this review. I personally am fine with any of the scenarios. I kind of like the idea of the spoiler, the complete spoiler film, because again, this is a review, and people that come in to watch reviews, they tend to have already seen the film, or they want to know if it's worth watching, and so with that being said right there, where they come in, they say it could be either they want to know the full detail about the film, or they want to know as little as they can, and so it'd be a spoiler-free review. They might enjoy that more, where they can be like, oh, this person said to go on a Tuesday at half price because I've already seen the other Grudge movies. He said go ahead and go on a Tuesday. I might go on a Tuesday instead. That kind of thing. I can see both scenarios happening. But that's just some ideas. Let me know if you guys have seen the film yourselves. I'm curious to see what you guys' honest opinion is of the film. Let me know what you guys' star rating of the film is. Again, 0 through 5, or thumbs up, or you might have a actual grade system, like S being perfect film, F being one of the worst films ever, kind of thing. Some people do that. Also, let me know if you guys have seen the other Grudge movies. I have not seen. I've seen previews, and I think I've seen like one scene of the Grudge movies. One of the Grudge movies. I have seen probably like one scene, but I have not seen like any of the Grudge movies at all. But I'll let you guys know what the next step is as to this review videos go. I am so glad that I have branched out from the video game scenario, and I'm doing this now. This is gonna be a lot of fun with you guys, and I appreciate you guys tuning in to watch this. And I will see you guys either probably sometime a little bit later this month, or I might see you at the beginning of February. I hope you all have a great 2020, and I'll see you guys later.